Yeah, thank you again for joining me in this live broadcast. I'm going to be going live on all my social media handles. So I'm using Restream to go live. And today, I'm going to be talking about a protocol that is integrative and designed for cancer. All right, like I said, I'm going live on all my social media handles, both on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram. And what I want to talk about is an integrative care for cancer. And I have a patient with me. However, she is going to be joining on Facebook. I will not waste any time to go further to talk about this. Like I said, this integrative care for cancer. It's more like a lifestyle and diet reset. And this reset is very important if you have cancer or if you know anybody who has cancer. Please do well to share this video so that they can learn and heal. Now let me speak plainly and with compassion. At this stage of illness, healing does not come from random advice. It doesn't come from prayers alone, or it doesn't come from trying small. If you have stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, you must remember that healing will come only from changing the internal environment that is feeding the disease. Cancer does not grow by chance. It grows because the body terrain allowed it to. So today, I want to explain clearly and practically the lifestyle and diet restructuring that is required to slow this condition, to reduce the complications, and to give the body a fighting chance. You know, a lot of people think that cancer can be fought and won just by medication. A lot of people think that disease can be fought and won just by eating a certain kind of food. Now, the people who think that disease can be fought and won by a certain kind of food alone, or certain kinds of magic medications alone, or certain kinds of herbs alone, they are delusional. Because beyond the physiological structure, there is also a psychological implication. There are a lot of things that determine health. It's not built only on medications, on herbs, on vitamins and supplements, and on food alone. There are a lot of people that have made only food adjustment, but their condition couldn't get better. There are people that made medication and food adjustment, but their condition couldn't get better. That's why what I do and what I advise you do is to follow an integrative approach to healing. You don't want to single out one particular healing agent and believe that is the only agent that you need to heal. Now, and it's not only one agent that is implicated in building a chronic disease. So, one agent cannot again be brought to bear in healing a chronic condition. Take, for instance, if you are hypertensive and you continue to think that if you are taking Lexotan and amlodipine, that you are going to be fine, not understanding that maybe you are being sleep deprived, especially if you are a shift worker, not taking into cognizance that you are living a sedentary life, so you need to move your body, not taking into cognizance that you are maybe doing work in a kind of environment that exposes you constantly to chemicals, so your body is toxic. The number of oxygen saturation that you need normally to lead optimal life is there. You are being deficient even in the common oxygen that we breathe. Why? And you continue to hope and depend on a medication or a food adjustment to solve the problem. No, it has to be holistic. You must have to address everything as it is. So that's why this adjustment that I propose for any and every cancer patient is not optional, because cancer cells continue to thrive on glucose, on insulin spike, on even sleep deprivation, because just having high cortisol level as a result of not probably having optimal sleep will also spike your insulin. So you see, you might be also addressing the level of sugar you are taking, thinking that you are going to fight the cancer, but you don't know that you're not being able to get optimal sleep, maybe because you're a shift worker, or maybe because you are used to so many medications, or maybe because you continue to scroll on your phone in the night and you deprive yourself of that optimal sleep. You wouldn't know it's fueling your cancer. So that's why when I make a proposition on an integrative way to approach cancer and several other chronic diseases, is sacrosanct. So share this video, because a lot of people think they are doing the right thing, but they don't know that they are fighting and missing. Now, any food that rapidly raises your blood sugar also feeds cancer. It feeds inflammation, it feeds infection, and also wound breakdown. But from today, following these steps I will give you, first of all, as regards to food, I said no garri, no fufu. If you really want to fight cancer and win, no semo, no rice, no bread, no sugar, no sweet drinks, no fruit juices, no alcohol. Now, these foods may feel normal culturally. When you sit with friends, you feel it's okay. When you go to a wedding or a birthday party, naturally what they serve there is rice. So you feel it's okay. But remember, you cannot heal by continuing on this same terrain and habit that build the disease. So biologically, these things will accelerate cancer metabolism. Now, this is not punishment, my friend. This is a strategic starvation of cancer cells, and that's what I propose. That's why I said you must know what the body must eat instead. And remember, the goal of food is not for satiety. It's not because you are hungry. You must understand, first of all, why do you have to eat food? Because a lot of people think they're eating food just because they have to have something in their stomach. So they just eat anything. And you don't know that it's garbage in, garbage out. Now, the goal of food now is to support your immunity. If you have cancer or any kind of chronic disease, the goal of food is to support immunity, to reduce inflammation, and to continue preserving your strength. So it's not pleasure eating. It's not eating because you are in a birthday party. It's not eating because you are with your friends. So that's why going forward, meals must be simple, must be soft, and must be nutrient dense. Now, the core foods I propose for a cancer patient and I use intensely to reverse even stage 4 cancer conditions is, I talk about boiled or lightly stewed fish. Now, when I talk about fish, it's not the so-called farm-raised fish. You know, when I say a lot of people have fish farm here and there, and they use all sorts of hormones and all sorts of grains to raise these fishes. Now, these fishes will compromise the purpose of food, except they are deep sea caught fishes. So if you are a traveler, for instance, you are in Nigeria, Port Harcourt precisely, and you notice those farmers on the road that go into the ocean or into the sea to catch fish, that is the type of fish that we recommend for you to eat. Now, the second and most important kind of protein that you need are eggs. Eggs. And I tell you, I know it's not easy, but always have it at the back of your mind that local eggs are 100 times better than farm raised eggs. But I know what is most common now are farm-raised eggs. But if you really, truly desire to heal, you must find a way to network local farmers who will supply you not only these eggs, including the vegetables that you will need on a daily basis. You must have to network these local farmers and use them, because your aim is not to eat to have food in your stomach. Your aim is to build your immunity. Your aim is to overcome inflammation. Your aim is to starve cancer. Now, hormone-ridden foods cannot starve cancer. If you follow me closely and on my page, I used to say and I used to share. That's precisely why I prefer naturally grazed and naturally raised livestock. So 100 times better is beef more than the so-called 6 weeks raised chicken that we eat daily. 100 times better is goat more than the so-called farm-raised fish. 100 times better is the lamb, the cattle, more than the so-called birds that you buy that are grown in 6 to 7 weeks and sold to you. Now, the next important food that you must eat if you have cancer and you want to heal, or maybe you have any other kind of chronic disease, is bone broth. I cannot overemphasize the importance of bone broth. And then I talk about vegetable soups. You have your ogo, which is pumpkin. You have your spinach. You have your bitter leaf. You have your water leaf. These things are sacrosanct. They are very important in your battle to heal. Then we'll talk about healthy fats. Our own palm oil, the red oil that you know, is healthy. It's healthier than most of the bottled nut oils or seed oils like the canola oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil. I tell you that our own red oil is far, far better than this. The next healthy fat is the olive oil and the coconut oil. Then amongst them again, we have the animal one. We have the lard. We have the beef tallow. These things you can source from your local butchery. Or even you can make your own. I've shared severally on my page how you can make your own beef dripping if you buy beef meat from your local butchery. Now, the meals should be small. The meals should be frequent. The meals should be warm. And the meal should be easy to digest. You don't have a milling machine in your stomach to digest the food. So that's why the practice of proper and selective eating is extremely important, because you don't need to continue to zap up the energy of healing just by digesting difficult foods that you eat. That's why I said you need to reduce digestive stress and conserve energy for healing, because your body needs this energy to continue to heal your body, to continue to reverse, to continue to mitigate the growth of this cancerous cell. So eating less sugar is not starvation, it is healing. Now, eating wrongly is what starvation of the good cells will make possible, because the body cannot heal when you continue to eat wrongly. Now, when I talk about hydration and detox support, I tell you water is now medicine. But how is water medicine? Now, you know that when you engage in intensive exercise, you will begin to sweat. If, for instance, you ever test that sweat, you know it doesn't taste like water. It tastes like salty water. So that means when you are losing water, or when you are peeing, when your kidney works, filters your blood and gets out urine, remember that what you are passing out is not just water. And that's why, for instance, when you ever happen to get admitted in the hospital, you notice that what they put on you as a drip is not water. They put on you normal saline. Now, that's why I recommend in your rehydration, always add a Celtic sea salt, at least a pinch of it in the large jar of water that you use. A pinch of Celtic sea salt. Now, if you don't see Celtic sea salt, you can use pink Himalayan salt. If you don't see pink Himalayan salt, you can use Baja Gold salt. Now, these salts are rich in minerals, and now the minerals of the sea have been seen to mimic the right mineral profile of the body. It's a very deep science, it's a very deep study, and we have come to accept it as a fact. So that's why instead of just taking plain water, I advise you to add Celtic sea salt in the water that you drink. Now, I know some people will be worried, especially those that are hypertensive and they have been told by their doctor, no, don't take too much salt. Too much salt will raise your blood pressure. I tell you, only white table salt raises your blood pressure because it is pure sodium chloride. But now, once you see salt, it is rich in a lot of other minerals, potassium, magnesium, manganese, dozens of minerals. As a matter of fact, it's proven to have, especially Celtic sea salt, 94 minerals in it. So imagine that you are not just rehydrating with water, you are rehydrating with the correct map out of body electrolytes that you need. Now, clean water intake is important, like I said, but you must find a way to add Celtic sea salt in it. Now, I said not ice water, not flavored water, not sugary water. Now, I don't know about Nigeria, but here in the UK, I noticed that most of the water that we buy from the grocery stores are now flavored. I don't know what science supports adding flavor in water, making water taste like strawberry, or making water taste like apple, or making water and coming to tell us that it is a lemonade, or tell us this. I don't know what science supports that, but that is not the kind of water I want you to drink if you have cancer or any kind of chronic disease and really desire to heal, because this healing is not a small talk. Healing is not a small talk. You must be intentional in your healing journey, and you must be committed to the real healing elements. Now, I talk about herbal fluids like light teas. These things can support detoxification, but you have to take it when you are properly guided. Like you have heard about the dandelion tea and its fight for cancer. You have heard about the green tea and its fight for cancer. These things are important, but you must have to be guided, because when you engage in an aggressive detox, it can worsen your weakness. And like I said earlier, you need strength to fight. And that's why supervision matters a lot. Now we'll talk about the liver and the lymphatic system. These things must be supported gently and not forced. So these herbal teas that I suggested earlier, they are very important, but you must have to take them in moderation or under pure guidance. Now talk about the lifestyle, because this lifestyle is what I call the invisible healing pillars of health. You know, when I started, I told you food alone cannot heal. Drugs alone cannot heal. You need these things to help you. Cancer will accelerate under stress. Cancer will accelerate under fear. Cancer will accelerate under poor sleep. And guess what? Cancer will accelerate under isolation. So if you stay alone and you are continuing to fight alone, and every time you are hearing the news that cancer will kill, take this life or take this life, you are seeing in the news people who are dying because of cancer, you are now developing fear. So you are isolated and you are working so hard to keep up with, the necessities of life. Again, you are being stressed. Now, these things will continue to fuel that cancer. So no matter what you try to do to take medication or to adjust your diet, you always come back and say it appears not to be working. Now, this is also true for people who are hypertensive. If you are under stress, you don't sleep well, you are sleep deprived, you are isolated, no support system, no friend, no brother, no son, no daughter to support you, it becomes hard when you fight these kinds of diseases alone. And that's why I said it's important to now begin to join a community. Some people is good. If you're not in a church, you have to join a church. You have to join a church. They are build a community. All right. Now, sleep must be protected. Your lights, you put off the lights early. You don't sleep under the light. You must reduce the noise or get rid of the noise completely. And you must put your phones away in the night. That is if you truly, really wants to heal. Because the body heals only in a parasympathetic mode when your stress hormones are very low. When they are very high, the body cannot heal. Now, I talk about daily gentle movement. It's very important. You take short walks, or you do breathing exercises, or you do simple limb movement. You can sit in a place and you are moving your limbs. It's a form of exercise. And the two exercises I most often recommend, especially to improve lymphatic drainage and clearance of all these tumor agents that are in your system, are number one, I talk about using the trampoline. A lot of us know the trampoline, so we think it's only meant for children, to be jumping on it, and they are happy when they jump on it. No, trampoline will help to open up your lymphatic drainage system. It's one of the important systems in the body that allows for proper detoxification. Now, apart from using a trampoline, another thing you can do if you live in a very small apartment and you don't have the space for trampoline, you can buy a rope. It's called a skipping rope, and use it to skip as often as you can. In fact, the minimum required dose is 15 minutes in a day. Now, for some people, I encourage you to use the opportunity of when the sun is coming out in the morning to do this skipping. So you are using one bullet to fire two birds. So in the morning, 9, 10, 11, when the morning sun is about to come, you can go out with your rope and you skip under it minimum 15 minutes. It will help to open up your lymphatic drainage system. And remember, I said the lymphatic system depends on movement. The stagnant leaf will continue to feed disease progression. Now, what must stop according to your lifestyle? What you must stop? Number one, you must stop emotional stress. You must stop scrolling on phone in the night or some certain kinds of discussion in the night that will keep you stressed. No frightening internet searches. No frightening calls in the night. No multiple advice from different people. That's why I said you need to select or look out for an integrative health practitioner or a functional medical doctor who understands all the nuances and all the kinds of root causes that keeps you fueling cancer, and who understands how to plan your way off of these things. So such a person, now with your own capacity to research, because I encourage you, even as somebody that has any kind of disease, to be assertive. Not only being assertive, to be the kind of person that is studious. You are always willing to learn, to study, to understand, why do I have cancer? What are the markers that fuel this my cancer? You must have to be the kind of person that is asking questions, not asking random people, but asking ChatGPT or asking Google or asking Perplexity AI. Now, these things are there to aid your healing process, and you must have to employ them. All right? Because confusion will continue to delay healing. Now, I say that structure creates safety. When you have a structure, when you understand that you are working on a plan, it's easy to scale than to not work on a plan. In fact, the last time I had a session, remember I said that if you have um, a destination, for instance, you want to get something in Lagos, but you now get an excavate, or you now get a powerful Toyota Land Cruiser, and you now enter the car or the SUV and you start heading to Abuja. Remember, you want to get something in Lagos, but you enter the car and you are heading to Abuja. I tell you quite frankly, speed will make you go way farther than your destination. So even if you apply all the speed, even if you use all the skilled driver to support you in that place you are going, you will get nowhere. But it's better you know you are going to Lagos and you even use a motorcycle, but you know it's heading to Lagos. So what I'm saying in essence, you need to put yourself in the trajectory of healing. Because if you say you want to heal or you want to reverse cancer, and I look at you and look at your lifestyle and see that the changes that you are adopting are not changes of somebody that wants to reverse cancer, I will tell you, no matter the kind of speed you apply in that changes, no matter the intensity, no matter your discipline on that so-called changes, you can't heal cancer. So that's why you must have to have a concrete plan that you know this plan surely can reverse cancer, so that you start working on it. No matter how slow you are, it's better you are on the path to reversal than that you are on the path that is a doom for you. So at this stage, I say when you have cancer, you are in stage 4 or thereabout, it is a very fragile state. So if your diet is wrong, your infection will worsen. If your diet is wrong, the bleeding will increase. If your diet is wrong, the pain will escalate. If detox is too aggressive, your weakness will increase. Notice that when you detox so much, you notice you start feeling weakness even from your stomach. I don't know if you have noticed it before. Even healing goes slow. And that is why it is not just a do-it-yourself situation. Healing requires monitoring. It requires adjustment. It requires accountability. It requires discipline. But most especially, it requires experience. So this lifestyle and diet reset is not optional, and it is not a punishment. It is the biological requirement for survival and for recovery. Now, when the internal environment changes, your disease begins to change. So I tell people healing is not magic. No, it's not. Healing requires a structure. Healing requires consistency, and healing requires guidance. So if you understand this and you have questions as regards to what I've proposed and what I continue to propose, do well to drop the questions in the comment section. And rest assured, I will get back to you and address the questions. Feel free to contact me if you need any coaching or personal support in your healing journey. And I'm always available to give it to you and give you the best, at least. Thank you so much again for being live with me. God bless you.